Hey friends, welcome back to the Elevated Dose with Carrie Ferrone, the podcast where we cut through the noise, explain the science in normal human English, and talk about real metabolic health without shame or gatekeeping. Before we dive in, a quick but important note. This podcast is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing my lived experiences and what I've learned along the way. I am not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. Always talk with your own provider about what's right for you. Today, I'm taking you into the future, like the actual next era of obesity and metabolic care. If you thought GLP-1s were the final breakthrough, nope, they were the pilot episode, because now we're entering a new phase with two big terms you're going to start hearing, NuSH and OMM. NuSH stands for Nutrient Stimulated Hormone Therapy, which basically means treatment designed to copy the natural hormones your body releases after you eat. OMM stands for Obesity Management Medications. That's the umbrella term for all prescription treatments for obesity as a chronic disease, not a moral failure. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through what those actually mean, what's in development, what's coming next after GLP-1s, and how all of this affects you, especially if you're sitting there thinking, I'm already on a GLP-1 and I'm not getting the results everyone else talks about. Because I've been there, Ozempic not working, Trulicity not working, wondering if I was somehow immune to GLP-1s. We're going to talk about how the future looks for people like that. People like us, the ones who might be still struggling with the current meds on the market, and what's coming that might finally feel like the right key in the right lock. Before we dive in, I want to quickly mention something because I know a lot of you listening are in the thick of this right now, trying to start treatment, switching meds, or dealing with denial letters and pharmacy drama. If you're overwhelmed by the insurance hoops or you just want a straightforward way to explore GLP-1 options with an actual medical provider, Fridays is the telehealth I personally use and partner with. Fridays connects you with licensed U.S. providers who review your health history, your medications, your labs when needed, and determine what's safe and appropriate for you. It's not a click a button, get a script situation. It's real medical care, just delivered in a modern way. You don't need insurance to use it. Pricing is transparent. And the thing I love most is that they actually explain the options instead of making you feel rushed or judged. If you want to check it out, the link is in the show notes. All right, deep breath, friends. Let's get into it. Before we jump into NuSH and OMM and all the shiny future science, I want to slow down and talk about why this conversation matters so much to me and probably to you. Because I did not have that I took my first GLP-1 shot and everything changed overnight story. For me, it started in 2022 with Ozempic. Everywhere online and in the news, people were talking about how Ozempic was this magic weight loss drug, how appetites vanished, food noise got quiet, how they suddenly forgot to eat. And I remember thinking, okay, maybe this is finally it. Maybe this is the thing that makes my brain and my body stop fighting each other. Except it didn't. From 2022 into 2023, I did the whole thing. I titrated, I followed instructions, I waited it out, and nothing. My appetite was still loud, my cravings still ran the show, my blood sugar wasn't changing the way we hoped, the scale wasn't budging the way you'd expect for all the hype. And when a GLP-1 doesn't work the way people say it should, the shame hits different. It's not just, oh, this diet didn't work. It's, wow, even the medication didn't work on me. Maybe I really am broken. So then came Trulicity. From 2023 into early 2024, we tried that route. Same hope, same willingness to give it a real shot. And again, no real shift, no meaningful appetite change, no major weight loss, no dramatic blood sugar turnaround. And emotionally, that's the part no one prepares you for. You watch other people drop weight, you watch their A1C improve, you watch them say this changed my life while you're sitting there thinking, what is wrong with me that even this isn't working? I remember feeling like a non-responder in every sense of the word. Not just biologically, but emotionally. Like I was somehow disqualified from the hope everyone else was getting. And then in 2024, we tried Mounjaro. And it genuinely felt like someone finally put the right key into the right lock. Same body, same past, same messy history with diets and meds and labs and shame. But this time, the mechanism matched my biology. For the first time, my hunger actually quieted. My blood sugar actually stabilized. My weight actually moved. And the mental chaos around food actually calmed down. It felt like magic, but it wasn't. It was just the right pathway finally being targeted for my body. That's why I care so much about this future conversation. Because if you're listening to this and thinking, I'm on a GLP-1 and I'm still struggling, I don't feel the way other people describe. What if I'm just never going to respond to anything? I want you to hear this clearly. You are not the failure. You might just be on the wrong medication for your specific biology. And the future of metabolic medicine, NuSH, OMM, multi-hormone therapies, new mechanisms is being built specifically with people like you and me in mind, the ones who didn't get a fair shake from the first generation. Okay, now that we're grounded in this reality, let's talk about where we actually are and what's coming next. So let's set the stage. GLP-1 medications like Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, Zepbound have completely changed the way obesity and metabolic disease are treated. For the first time, we have medications that can help regulate appetite, reduce food noise, stabilize blood sugar, and support people who'd tried literally everything else. People who'd been told for years to just eat less and move more suddenly had relief. Their brain quieted down around food, their blood sugar numbers improved, their bodies finally responded. But as incredible as that is, GLP-1s are not perfect. They don't work the same for everyone. Some people get hit hard with nausea or other GI side effects. Access is a mess. Insurance coverage is shrinking or disappearing altogether as we head into 2026. And for a lot of people, long-term maintenance is still a big question mark. And part of that confusion isn't your fault. Well, most of it isn't your fault, to be honest. The field is moving in real time. On top of all the individual experiences people are having, we're also seeing pharmacies stretch thin, insurance companies layering on new AI-driven denial tools. Yep, AI is screening prior authorizations, and if certain phrases aren't included in your doctor's notes, the system just spits back an automatic no, and changes to cash pay options every day. So when I say access is messy, I mean the whole ecosystem is shifting like tectonic plates under our feet. So researchers and the entire obesity medicine field are already moving into the next era. And this is where NuSH and OMM come in. Let's start with NuSH. NuSH, NuSH, stands for Nutrient Stimulated Hormone Therapy. Here's the normal explanation. When you eat, your body releases a wave of hormones from your gut, your pancreas, and your brain. Those hormones are what tell you I'm full, I'm satisfied, I'm done eating, I can go live my life now without obsessing about my next snack. Some of the big players in that wave are GLP-1, the fullness hormone you've probably heard of by now, GIP, which helps with insulin and energy balance, amylin, a satiety hormone that helps prevent overeating, PYY, a gut hormone that signals to your brain that you're done eating, and oxyntomodulin, which helps regulate appetite and metabolism. I probably said that wrong. Current GLP-1 meds basically take one or two of those. GLP-1, and GIP and turn up the volume. NuSH therapies try to activate multiple of those hormones at the same time in a way that more closely mimics what your body does after a meal. So instead of a single note signal, you're getting the whole musical arrangement. There's also an important clinical layer here. Your GLP-1 receptors can get a little desensitized over time. Not broken, just less reactive when they're the only pathway being pushed. That's one of the reasons multi-hormone therapies like NuSH are getting so much attention. Instead of overdriving a single circuit, they create a more balanced, natural rhythm your body recognizes and works with instead of fighting against. GLP-1 was one violin. NuSH is the entire orchestra. So why are researchers obsessed with this? Because when you use that whole hormone orchestra, appetite may be more stable, fewer people may get hit with severe nausea or vomiting, blood sugar regulation may be smoother, and long-term maintenance might be easier because you're working with the body's natural patterns instead of just pushing one pathway really hard. NuSH is really about moving from suppress appetite to restore a healthier, more natural hormone rhythm. Now let's talk about OMM. OMM stands for Obesity Management Medications. This is not one drug or one class of medications or even one pharmaceutical company. It's a category. OMM is the label for all evidence-based prescription treatments for obesity as a chronic metabolic disease. So under OMM, you have GLP-1 medications, GLP-1 and GIP medications, triple agonists that hit GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon, amylin analogs, NuSH therapies, and all the new hormone stacks that are currently in development. So instead of calling them weight loss drugs, which is honestly inaccurate and loaded with stigma, we shift to calling them obesity management medications, OMM for short. That language matters. It moves the conversation away from you're taking a shortcut or you just want to be skinny and toward you are treating a chronic disease with a chronic care tool. That reframing is a really big deal for patients, providers, and for insurance. And this shift to OMM isn't just language, it's policy. States like Massachusetts are already pushing obesity care-specific legislation. Employers are creating dedicated OMM benefits, and insurers are writing coverage rules around the OMM category. This is the terminology the healthcare system is moving toward, and understanding it now puts you ahead of the curve. Now let's talk about what's actually coming next. I'm not here to hype up products or push anything specific. I just want you to have a clear picture of the landscape. Number one, triple agonists. You might hear about drugs in development that hit GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon all at once. The big name is retatrutide. Early studies show really powerful metabolic effects, strong weight reduction, improved insulin resistance, better markers overall. And because these meds include glucagon, which most of us only learned about as the blood sugar hormone, let me break it down. At low doses, glucagon actually increases fat oxidation and energy expenditure. It helps your body tap into stored fat more efficiently. So adding it to GLP-1 and GIP isn't random. It's intentional metabolic engineering. This is also why this medication shows an early potential for improving liver fat and metabolic liver disease. But because it hits more pathways, it can also come with different side effects. So researchers are tweaking doses and delivery to try to get the benefits while minimizing the side effect profile. Before we even get to NuSH, we have two big ones coming down the pipeline sooner, CagriSema and amycretin. CagriSema is semaglutide combined with an amylin analog, cagrilinotide, which should give stronger satiety signals and a smoother appetite profile. Amycretin is Novo's next-generation superagonist. The early analysts think may actually replace semaglutide altogether because of how powerfully and uniformly it impacts appetite and metabolism. These are still GLP-1 era meds, but they're the bridge into that NuSH future. Number 2, NuSH hormone stacks. These are therapies that try to recreate that post-meal hormone wave I talked about earlier. The fullness, the satiety, the I can walk away from the kitchen feeling, but in a controlled, sustained way. This is probably the closest we've come to a treatment that looks like how the body already wants to operate when things are working properly. And that's where the big pharma race is heating up. Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, and smaller biotech labs are moving at lightning speed because whoever nails the first widely tolerated NuSH therapy is going to redefine obesity care. This isn't theoretical. There's hundreds of millions of dollars in R&D happening right now because the demand, the data, and the outcomes are undeniable. Number 3, amylin-first medications. Amylin is so underrated and it deserves its renaissance. It's a hormone that helps you feel satisfied and stay satisfied. New medications that focus on amylin or combine it with GLP-1 or other hormones may end up being game changers for maintenance, not just losing weight, but staying stable without feeling like you're in a constant battle with your hunger. We're also seeing more research showing that amylin-based therapies may support better mood stability around eating and help reduce that frantic, impulsive hunger people get when they're off the medication. For maintenance specifically, this is probably going to be one of the most important categories to watch. Number 4, oral OMM options. Pills instead of injections. Medications like orforglipron are in late-stage trials. These are oral options that target similar pathways to GLP-1s, but in pill form. And it's not just Eli Lilly. Multiple companies are now developing oral OMM options, oral GLP-1s, oral dual agonists, and even early oral triple agonist formulations. Pills are going to explode over the next 3 years. For people terrified of needles or who can't access injectables due to insurance limitations and stock issues, this is going to be a game changer. For a lot of people, moving away from injections lowers the barrier to even considering treatment. It doesn't mean the medication is weaker or less serious. It just means it may be more accessible and easier to live with. Number 5, brain-targeted therapies. There's a lot of interest in targeting the hypothalamus, the region of the brain that controls hunger, energy balance, and food noise. The idea here is, instead of just slowing down your stomach or focusing on the gut alone, what if we could calm hunger and cravings at the level of the brain's control center? This could mean less nausea, less constipation, better mood around food, and a more sustainable relationship with appetite long term. There's also emerging research around reducing hypothalamic inflammation, basically quieting the part of the brain that becomes inflamed and dysregulated in long-term obesity. When you reduce inflammation there, it changes appetite, cravings, and metabolic signaling at the root level. This is next generation OMM, but it's coming. So what does all of this actually mean for you as a real person with a real body and probably a very long history with diets, shame, and frustration? I'm talking directly to the people who felt like I did on Ozempic and Trulicity from 2022 into early 2024. You're on a med right now and seeing tiny changes, or maybe none. Your appetite is still louder than it should be. The scale is barely moving. Your labs aren't shifting the way everyone promised. You're scrolling online wondering, why is this working for everyone but me? Here's what the future looks like for you. It looks like more options, but not just more meds, more mechanisms. It means if GLP-1 alone isn't enough, dual and triple agonists and NuSH stacks are being built to hit multiple pathways your body may actually respond to. If your main issue is never feeling full or satisfied, amylin-based treatments and NuSH hormone waves might be a better match than just turning up GLP-1 louder. If injections aren't realistic or your body doesn't love weekly dosing, oral and shorter acting options are coming that may fit your life better. If you've tried multiple GLP-1s and felt like a non-responder, the next generation of OMM is literally being designed around people like you, people like me, those whose biology didn't fit into the first wave at the first try. It also means personalization is on the horizon. Instead of throwing the same medication at every single person and hoping for the best, OMM medicine is shifting towards matching the treatment to your specific metabolic pattern, whether that's hunger signaling, insulin resistance, liver involvement, cravings, or appetite instability. It means if one medication didn't work for you, that doesn't mean nothing will. It means we're moving away from the idea that there's going to be one magic shot that works for everyone and toward a toolbox of treatments that can be personalized. It means there will be more options for people who struggle with side effects and more specific tools for people in maintenance who need help staying stable. It also means that the story is bigger than just lose weight fast. It's about long-term metabolic health, reducing cardiovascular risk, improving liver health, reducing inflammation, and giving people their quality of life back. If you relate more to my Ozempic and Trulicity did nothing era than my Mounjaro finally clicked era, I really want you to hold on to this. The current meds on the market are not the final chapter. They're chapter 1. You might just be early in the story. Now we have to talk about access, because it's one thing to say, wow, the science is exciting, and another thing to say, okay, but can real humans actually get this? Here's the truth heading into 2026. A lot of employers are dropping or restricting GLP-1 coverage because costs exploded. Prior authorizations are getting stricter and more complicated. In many places, 40% of GLP-1 prescriptions never get picked up at the pharmacy because the out-of-pocket cost is just too high. And we're also seeing employers do the opposite, adding GLP-1 carve-out programs where employees can access safe prescriptions at a negotiated rate outside traditional insurance. So while some companies are slamming the door shut, others are quietly building new entry points. So yes, access is hard right now, but at the same time, there are some signs of hope. Telehealth platforms are expanding access to evidence-based obesity care without you needing to beg your primary care doctor for help. Compounding when it's done safe and legally has made treatment more affordable for some people who would never be able to afford name brand prices. And retail clinics are stepping into obesity care whether the insurance industry likes it or not. This is going to decentralize access in a way we honestly haven't seen before. And as OMM becomes the standard term, let's hope more employers and insurers are looking at structured obesity management benefits instead of pretending this doesn't exist. So yes, it's messy right now, but long term, I genuinely believe access will get better, not worse. So here's my take. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not failing because you're confused by all of this or because one medication didn't work for you or even two didn't work for you. We are watching an entire field of medicine evolve in real time. GLP-1s opened the door. NuSH and OMM are building the house. The next 5 years are going to dramatically change how we treat obesity and metabolic disease. And you deserve to understand that without shame, without fear, and without needing 10 medical degrees. If you want more deep dives like this, you can subscribe to the Elevated Dose on Substack, where I break things down further in plain English. No gatekeeping. And if you're in the middle of navigating access or figuring out whether medication might be right for you, check out the show notes, take a look at Fridays, or any of the other resources I have available. All right, friends, go drink some water, go stretch, or pick up something a little bit heavy, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Elevated Dose.